Yeah.
Hello everyone and welcome back or welcome to the Sunday League Effect with myself and Nick.
Hello.
I hope you guys have had a good week, and if you are new here, first time, please like and subscribe, share us far and wide as we are here to take over.
We are, absolutely. Give you a new aspect and a new way of looking at the weekend's games, really.
Yeah, through terrible views and opinions, but
yeah. But that's the fun bit.
The point, yeah.
We're football fans, that's what it is.
What you get on Sunday?
Yeah, I did. I mean, I was planning on watching it with you, but you were a little bit worse for wear.
I was fine.
Oh yeah. Okay.
The game was very good.
Well, you say this, but I obviously was feeling some effects from Saturday night because I fell asleep. I saw the first goal.
Yeah.
And then I had a nap for about 20 minutes.
You was up proper early, weren't you, Sunday?
Yeah. I didn't go to bed till like 5:30.
Yeah.
And then I was up at 8:30, I think it was in the end.
Fuck that.
But yeah, I saw the first goal, realised what was going on, knew that Man City was about to be absolutely have their pants pulled down. Fell asleep for 20 minutes, woke up just before half time.
Well, you missed the better half because the first half was very good. Obviously, Liverpool went 1-0 up, deservedly. Best game I've seen Gakpo play.
Yeah, he was fantastic.
But everyone was, like to a man, the whole Liverpool team were phenomenal. And it's so rare to see City get dominated so easily. Like, they were just rampant.
There's almost no fight in them.
It was very strange. There's a lot of strange things going on at Man City at the minute. We'll go into Man City in a little while. We'll talk about Liverpool and we'll give them the plaudits they deserve first. Mo Salah again, goal and assist. Could have had more.
Absolutely. I think he should have put away about at least 3 of his chances.
Well, he missed the 1-1, didn't he?
Yeah. They put one over the bar as well.
Yeah. But still, the ball for the first goal to Gakpo was perfect.
Yep.
A few years ago, this is how much I've usurped on Mo Salah. For years, I just didn't rate him. So I know I'm fully in the Ballon d'Or for Mo Salah bandwagon now. I'm the driving force behind that. But I'm very hypocritical. And when he first came to the Prem, I just didn't see it. I thought, you know when... this could sound so stupid. Remember Papi Cisse?
Yeah.
When he went through that red hot form for Newcastle and he scored worldie after worldie and then just fell off a cliff.
Yeah.
I liked Mo Salah to that, just with a little bit more longevity.
Okay.
I genuinely didn't see him anything other than a pace merchant.
Right, okay.
And obviously he's much more than that now. So a few years ago, that cross for Gakpo's goal, I would have thought it's a mishit shot.
Okay, all right.
So there was a reason where I was going down that
so you were thinking that obviously previously he wasn't... Was this while he was at Chelsea though?
No, genuinely it was
when he got to Liverpool?
up until maybe 2 years ago.
And you've just seen it and gone,
looked
you know
at his
what?
numbers and just how consistent he is. And because what the mainstream media do very well, and for anyone that's massive fans of like Match of the Day and Sky Sports, it's great that they're the only place we can get the coverage for a lot of these games, but they do like to pigeonhole players and they like to give you stats to either push a player that they want to promote or diminish what a player's doing. Like at the minute, you'll see something in a few weeks' time. Mo Salah will stop scoring so regularly and stop being as effective in goal scoring moments. And what they'll push is his physical stats in how much he runs or something like that.
Yeah, the kilometres he covers per
so
game.
You look at it and you'll be like, he's not doing very much.
No.
And I, for years, just lapped that up and listened to those guys thinking,
instead of looking at it yourself and taking in your own opinion.
But no, Mo Salah is genuinely my favourite player in the world right now.
I mean, look, at the end of the day, he is an ageing player.
Yeah.
But yet his consistency has not diminished. I can't remember, wasn't it that he hasn't had a season where he hasn't scored 25 goals or more?
Yeah.
Since
he joined Liverpool.
I was going to say since...
that's in all competitions, but yeah. But even in the Premier League, he's not far off that, for goal contributions at least, because he gets assists as well. There's a reason why he's outlasted the likes of Firmino and Mane, or Coutinho went for that massive money to Barcelona. Well, Suarez was sort of before his time.
Oh yeah, I suppose it was. He was already at Barcelona by that point, wasn't he?
But yeah, Mo Salah, he wasn't even the best player on the night. I think Gakpo was. Gakpo or Van Dijk Van Dijk were very good until his little slip up at the end.
Yeah.
Nearly give De Bruyne a role. What's going on with De Bruyne? Left on the bench and brought on with the last 10 minutes.
I don't really know. I don't know if it's still an injury thing, if there's a concern for it, but then his form's been off since he's come back from injury. I don't think he's been in form really.
I think they've just fallen out. I genuinely think he's fallen out. I'm not sure everything's as rosy as what we're used to at Man City. There seems to be a lot of untrust, is that a word? He doesn't seem
distrust.
Yeah, that's the one. He's not trusting John Stones in a minute. He's left out of the team. I don't know if he's injured or not, but he's
I thought he must have been injured because
De Bruyne. So, Man City problems are very easy to see. They're a one-man team. So I asked the question, and now it's almost the proof is in the pudding. They are a one-man team. Without Rodri, they can't function.
Yeah.
And even now, without that filler that they were using Kovacic as, without him,
they've got nothing else to back up onto.
They're crumbling like a shoddy Polish building.
Okay.
Could have been a better.
I get it. I get what you're saying.
They're just falling apart. So I got some stats here because we got it wrong last week. It was we said they lost 5 in a row. Now they have lost 5 in a row in the Prem.
No, now it's 6 in a row. 5 in a row in the Prem.
5 in the Prem.
Yeah.
Not 1 in 7. And then if you look back to before that, they scraped past Southampton. That was their last one in the Premier League. The one where you said it would be a dead game.
Yeah.
They won 1-0.
Yeah.
Before that, they scraped past Fulham. And if I remember correctly, that was 3-2. Or 2-1, and it was really late, and Fulham were the better team. They are leaking goals. They conceded 19 goals in 7 games.
Yeah.
Haaland's got 12 goals in the Premier League. The next top scorers are Gvardiol and Kovacic with 3.
So, I was going to say this when you were talking about Salah. So, Salah, after that game on the weekend, has gone up to 11 goals.
Yeah.
And Haaland is only on 12. Now, bearing in mind, after week 3, Haaland was on 10.
5, yeah.
Haaland was on 10.
Yeah.
And now, also, I was just looking through the stats that I've got, and it's actually 4. They've lost 4 consecutive Premier League games.
I thought it was 5.
So I think they've lost 5 games in total, 4 consecutive.
4 consecutive games. Who have they lost to then? They lost to Bournemouth, Brighton,
Liverpool, and Tottenham.
Okay.
Yeah. But then obviously they had Sporting in between that.
And they got battered by Sporting. And then the capitulation against Feyenoord. Feyenoord a midweek game, Champions League, 3-0 up. 3-0 up in the second half. So I thought they went 3-0 up at half time, and Feyenoord just came out second half. They didn't. They went 3-0 up in the second half.
75th, 82nd, and 89th.
It was like the last 20 minutes. They just capitulated again. And they look so fragile at the back. And he dropped Ederson at the weekend for Ortega.
Yeah, I did see that. I thought maybe, I didn't know if that was an injury thing. Or...
He was on the bench, Ederson, so it can't be. You ain't going to drop your first choice goalkeeper in a game in that magnitude and then leave him on the bench.
No, it's very true.
And then, did you see Pep biting?
When they all started singing, you're getting sacked in the morning. Yeah,
very Mourinho-like.
Yeah.
Very Mourinho-like. And
something's changed. Something's changed in him.
There's something... not to use the same word again, but I can't think of another one. There's something dire in the waters at Man City. And do you reckon they could... conceivably, do you reckon they could genuinely sack Pep?
After just giving him a new 2-year deal?
Mate, if this was Pellegrini, Mancini, any of the managers, I know they haven't brought the levels of success that he has.
Yeah.
But Man City are meant to be a juggernaut in the world of football. This is not okay. Ancelotti's under immense pressure at Real Madrid because they're struggling in the Champions League. They're still pissing the Liga. Yeah. I believe. I might actually be wrong now. I don't know. But they're struggling in the Champions League. They're I don't actually know what they're like 15th to 20th. They're not in the going through bits. So just as a comparison, he's got to be under pressure. The next 4 games, they are winnable. So they got Forest at home tomorrow.
So City, every game's winnable for City.
Yeah. So they got Forest at home, then they got Palace away, United at home, and Villa away.
I think if they carry on this run of form, they'll lose the Manchester derby.
Possibly.
I can't see them in the way that they're playing at the moment, with the lack of any guile that they had. That's a good word, guile. The lack of guile they had against Liverpool. I can't see him beating Man City. I think they'll even struggle against...
Man United, you mean?
Man United.
But in saying that, I think Man United... We'll talk about Man United briefly, because I've got a little bit to say about that, but I think their result of the weekend was a bit of smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
Like it's 4-0 against Everton, who couldn't hit a barn door.
Yeah.
May as well have me up front. I scored at the weekend. I'm going to insert that clip because it was a world.
I said it was. I've seen it. It was a very good goal.
But back onto real footballers, not us wannabes.
We're the real footballers. Those other footballers are Madonnas, me. Prima donnas. But no, on Guardiola, I can't see him being sacked. On the flip side of that, I think if nothing improves by Christmas,
one of those mutual agreements, because there's too much to respect there.
Because there's too much oil being pumped into that club.
Literally.
Yeah. They can't.
Well, they can't afford to not finish in the Champions League, and at the minute they're fourth.
Yeah.
11 points behind.
They need to be making as much money as possible.
Yeah, they're 11 points behind Liverpool.
Mm-hmm.
Things don't look like changing anytime soon. Like, we're not seeing. It'd be very different. It'd be a different conversation if they turned up against Liverpool and even just sat in.
Yeah.
And changed their game, but there was no game. There was nothing. They didn't lay a hand on them.
No.
It was like watching West Ham play Liverpool.
Yeah. There was no dominance there. Not one part of the game did I think, they could dominate.
The mistake at the end by Van Dijk, they let De Bruyne in, was the only chance that I can recall off the top of my head.
Yeah.
And that was again a mistake.
I don't even think Kelleher had a Kelleher.
Yeah, Queeman.
I don't.
I asked someone. Queeman, something like that. I'm going to be Irish, by the way.
Yeah,
I've never seen that name before in my life.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of Irish it is though. I don't know if it's
Gaelic. Queeman.
Yeah, but Republic or Northern is what I meant.
I don't think really, but it's just Irish.
Yeah, but trust me, there's
it's
difference.
Republic.
Okay. Anyway, I don't recall him actually making a save.
No,
at all. I think
I do like him. Though. I do like Kelleher. I'd say he's probably the best second choice striker in the Premier League.
Goalkeeper.
Goalkeeper by a long way.
To be fair, the only save that I remember him making was the one for De Bruyne.
I think he did make a couple in the game, but they were like half chances, like deflections or something, or maybe even catches.
But that De Bruyne save, like realistically, who knows what could have happened? I mean, I couldn't see.
Last like 10.
Yeah.
So if that goes in, City would have.
They would have upped it. Absolutely.
100%.
But they were an absolute shadow of themselves. Not the team that have been dominating the league.
To see.
Oh, of course.
I just would have liked maybe Arsenal to be a little bit closer and Chelsea to be a little bit closer to Liverpool, so we'd have. Because at the minute you need Liverpool. So if Liverpool don't win, and tomorrow, and Arsenal do, there's still a 5-point gap. Like it's. More than that, it's still an 6-point gap.
Yep.
It'll be Liverpool ain't going to lose. Whoever Liverpool got, they've got Newcastle away. It's a hard game, to be fair.
Yeah, but Newcastle haven't been on form.
We beat Newcastle, and we'll get on to the Newcastle game as well because I've got something briefly to speak about that. But we'll move on to another team that's drastically out of form.
Sorry, just before you move on to that, last week in the pod, you said if City don't beat Liverpool, they're out of the title race.
Yeah.
Do you still agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I would have touched back on that later when we did our talk about the title race and.
Okay, that's fine. Well, you can go into more detail, but I just wanted to double check.
Yeah, no, but don't let me off the hook.
No.
But yeah, another team that are drastically out of form, probably not getting looked at as much because they're not Man City, but Villa. They weren't great. Did you watch the Chelsea game?
I watched the highlights because we were out Saturday, so
I watched the game. Bearing in mind I was in and out of consciousness because again I was struggling from the night before. But Villa had chances. Ollie Watkins missed some very good chances.
He did,
and like I've alluded to so many times, he's a streak striker. He's in not great form at the minute, and it shows. His confidence just looks waning. Like he's not doing things that was coming off so often last season.
So why is he still playing?
Because John Durant stopped scoring as well. Neither of them are scoring.
Yeah,
so they've only scored 4 goals in their last 5 Premier League games.
And they've gone winless in 5.
And they're winless in the Premier League since October 19th against Fulham. And for a team that's challenging top 4, yes, they've been in the Champions League, and we have to expect this drop off. You see it from new teams in the Champions League all the time. You saw it with Newcastle the year before last.
Yeah.
You see it when I imagine when Chelsea get back in there, you'll see it.
It's all the extra games that they've got now.
It's funny, isn't it? Because the drop-off is so quick. Because Villa, up until probably about October 19th when they beat Fulham, we was all giving them a round of applause. They were sitting like third or fourth.
I think they were fourth, weren't they?
Yeah,
and they were sitting there for a while.
Yeah, they were playing well. Both their strikers were scoring. They had midfielders coming in. They had a good rotation.
I think if you look back at the podcasts from back then, we were making jokes about how good Duran was.
Yeah.
And
I still stand by it. I still think Duran will be starting over Watkins come the end of the season. It's just which one of them is going to start scoring again first, because they are goal scorers.
It's just about who's going to kick off first half.
I think what's not helped them is how well they were doing in the Champions League. Like, they were top of the Champions League after 3 match days.
Mm-hmm.
So they beat PSG. Was it PSG? Who did they beat? Big team. Bayern Munich. They beat Bayern Munich.
Yeah. Cause
and they were sitting top of the Champions League group, and everything was roses and light. That's a phrase, isn't it?
Roses and light? Yeah. I don't think so.
Roses and smiles? Smiles and light? Smiles and light? Something, it all looked good for him. So we got carried away with that. And
Smelling
I think,
of roses.
Maybe. I don't really know.
know.
But maybe that hindered them more than helped, because they weren't like...
They were looking more towards the Champions League.
It's going really well. When it stops all of a sudden, and like I said last week, when things aren't working, they're really not working.
Yeah.
And you need to get right back to basics in order to get them started. You're looking at Emery on the sideline, and he looks dishevelled, like at what he's seeing.
Yeah.
The second half against Chelsea, they just fell apart.
It annoys me, though, because like he's such a good manager, and yet it seems to be that he's almost not got a plan anymore.
Yeah.
Like, his plan was to smash out the Champions League, so they started doing that. Then when it didn't do that, he had nothing for the Premier League, because I don't think that was his forefront. I think he knew he wasn't going to win that, but had a feeling that he might be able to do something in the Champions League.
Well, I still think they could, but they need to find form quickly, because the likes of the real bigwigs of the Champions League, the likes of Real Madrid, the likes of Borussia Dortmund, Bayern Munich, Man City.
Is Man City still a big wig in there?
In the Champions League, they're going to get far. So they're going to start picking up. Because Real Madrid have won the Champions League so many times, and we've watched them and thought, this team is shit. Mm-hmm. But they've just ground out results and won the game, and then won the tournament. A couple of years ago, that's exactly what they did. Or maybe last year it might have been. But it's not, I wouldn't say it's worrying for Villa. They've got... I don't know what the next 4 games are. I didn't actually look at them, because I only looked at the top 4 teams.
Yeah.
In my head, the top 4 is going to finish as the top 4.
Well, one of them is City.
Yeah, I know they've got City.
And they've got you.
And I think they've got Arsenal as well, actually.
Yeah.
So I think they've got a relatively hard run.
I know you're in the FA Cup, aren't you, against Villa?
Oh, yeah, we got them in the FA Cup. Can't wait.
Fun.
No, Arsenal haven't got them in the next 4. But something needs to change at Villa, and I'm not too sure what. He keeps playing Diego Carlos. I don't rate him. Martinez went off injured at the weekend, and he wasn't having a good game before that.
No, I was going to say he made a couple of sloppy mistakes.
So they said it in commentary, so forgive me for stealing this a little bit, but it's true. He is known as a goalkeeper that holds onto the ball for right until the last minute, like a lot, and it's part of his game to wind people up, because it is so annoying as a striker if you get within an inch of it. He knows exactly what he's doing, and he passes it straight to Jackson. Jackson, yeah.
Is it Jackson or Madueke?
No, Jackson, because Madueke didn't start.
Oh yeah, of course.
And then he made the save, and then he went off injured with a sore back, and the back was from a save that he made earlier in the game, and it was just when your keeper's going off injured and you have to bring on Olsen, who's not a bad goalkeeper.
No.
And this is,
but there's a reason he's not first choice.
Yeah, this is a top 4 challenger. Like, Chelsea are very much challenging Villa at the very least for top 4, their position. And I just wonder whether it's maybe a mentality shift needed a little bit.
I mean, yeah.
Some of the things I'm seeing, there was a lot of hand gestures and throwing their arms about, and it happens when you're frustrated and you're not winning games.
They are. They are on a winless drought.
Yeah.
So it does make sense that you are going to get frustration from these players and things like that. And normally, I'd say it's a good thing, because it shows that they care. But nothing changed in that game when they started doing that.
It got worse.
Yeah.
So the first half they were in it, then the second goal goes in and it sort of deflated them, and then the third goal, Cole Palmer.
Yeah.
Unbelievable finish. Unbelievable finish.
That was a cold finish.
He's also not in my FPL, so I'm fuming. I've been watching him for weeks, being like, he's in my FPL. I took him out, and I can't remember why I took him out. And now I've just taken Haaland out, put him back in. I bet Haaland now scores 9 goals in 2 games.
He's not going to score, mate.
He won't, maybe not.
He's trash.
What are you looking at your phone for? You got something to talk to us about?
I've got notes, mate. I've got notes.
About Villa?
So, no, I was, if you're happy to, I was going to move on to Chelsea.
Yeah.
And one of the best players I've seen in the Premier League ever, Enzo Fernandez. Scored in back-to-back games. Scored 2.
Yeah, no, I've actually got something to say about Enzo. Genuinely, he looked really good against Villa.
He did.
And the goal that he scored, and I think he was had a part to play in the second as well. He's starting to look closer to that 100 mil player, but I don't know what it is. I think playing him a little bit higher up, with Lavia behind him, it just works. It seems to be working well.
Yeah, I agree with that. What I'll disagree with is he's not looking anything like a 100 mil player.
What's a 100 mil player look like?
Not
Jack
that.
Grealish?
No.
Declan Rice?
No.
Who then? Because they're both 100 mil players.
Salah would be a 100 mil player.
You'd only pay 100 mil for Mo Salah?
Well, you'd probably pay more. But I'm talking like 100 mil plus. My point is, with Enzo, is yes, he scored 2 goals and he looked very good against a struggling Villa. If he could pull out a performance like that against the Liverpool, I'd probably hold my hands up and go,
but not
you know
many
what?
people do. That's so harsh.
Absolutely.
It's so harsh to say. Like, start saying there's not many people that can really keep the consistency.
And there's not a lot of players that are 100 million.
No, but true.
I mean, if you're going to be paying...
You're talking about what you think is a £100 million player. I'm not saying that. I don't think any player is worth £100 million if you want to talk about it properly. I just mean in today's current market, there's a lot of players worth 100 million because that's what people are paying for it.
Yeah, and I get that, but I feel like a lot of the time you're paying a lot of money for players because of who they are, not because of what they can do.
Yeah, but there's nothing we can do about that. That's just the way football's
No, of course, and I get that. But I mean, from my aspect, obviously, I'm thinking of it more as like it's a financial investment for what they're going to do for you. They're going to win you games, whereas most teams are almost buying players not because of what they're going to do for you in games. It's because of how many shirts they'll sell. Like, let's be honest. You want a player to come in.
It depends on the club. It depends on the club because Brighton don't work like that because
Brighton don't buy 100 mil players.
No, but they don't buy players for names. You're saying it like a blanket statement.
Sorry, okay. I'm talking about the rich clubs, the big money clubs.
Not even the rich clubs, the big clubs. Like Man United do it.
Yeah.
They buy a player for their name. That's why they've always got players. Or over the years, they got players like Zlatan towards the end.
Yeah.
Just to
they brought back in Ronaldo.
Yeah, like that is purely PR. Yeah. And now quality, they both got top goal scorer.
Of course, no,
I hear what you're saying there, but I think it's unfair to say that he's not a £100 million player in today's market. Sorry. I don't think he is.
Yeah.
He's looking more like it, but the way you went about it, I disagree.
I will retract the way that I explained why I don't think he's a 100 million player, but I will tell you now that just because he scores 2 goals and he has scored in back-to-back games for the first time, I still don't think he's worth it.
No, I agree. He was very good though.
He was very good, absolutely.
But then that could easily lead into the hands of what we were talking about last week, in that Cole Palmer's now taking 2 midfielders away from that midfield to track him, leaving space for someone that might not be as good at finding the pockets of space, like Enzo, to have it now.
To be honest, I would say you're right. It then leads on. I mean, Cole Palmer, £100 million player.
You reckon?
He's being consistent. The only thing that stops him is the fact that he hasn't quite... I don't know if it's a mental thing or a physical thing, because he's still young, but he can't quite hack having 2 players marking him. Like we were saying last week, Saka can do it.
Found a way against Villa.
Yeah.
But they don't do it every week. They're not Messi. Like, Messi is the only player... And again, I brought him up last week, but Kaká gets overlooked for this because they were man-marked by 2-3 players every single game for their career, yet they still put in 9s, 10s consistently. But you're not going to get players like that that often.
But I think that's the difference between being an absolute superstar to being...
But I do think... I'm not saying that he's going to be as good as those players, Cole Palmer, but I do think he could reach the levels of the truly elite.
I think he's got potential.
And same as Saka. Saka's another player that I love to give slack to, but it's more to wind up Arsenal fans than my actual belief in his ability at football. But there are a few players that really do have that something.
They've got that special something.
Another one of them as well, but he's just really in a pit at the minute.
I wonder if he needs a move.
You can't. Yeah.
I know what you're going to say, because
actually, it is what I wanted to say. Actually, go and carry on. I was saying this.
Sorry. So I was going to say, I know you're probably going to say like, yeah, but he's playing at the top level that he can. But I'm thinking maybe if he plays into a different system, he might play better.
Well, this is what I wanted to mention. I forgot, and you just reminded me. Going back to Man City. Sorry for just drawing it back.
Confusing you all a little bit.
Yeah. Do you think that maybe some of these players, and this if you hear it and don't listen to me explain what I'm saying, it's going to sound super stupid.
Right.
But do you think some of these players, with Pep signing his 2-year deal, it sort of had an adverse effect? You know, like when managers sign and they get that bounce. And the reason I say this is because, do you reckon the likes of players that even not specifically like Jack Grealish, who suffered under Pep in terms of his ability, and his style of football, his personal style of football, but I mean even the players like De Bruyne, Foden, who have won everything with Pep, they're like, this is the end of the season, he's going, we're going to get a new manager in, a new style, a bit of a lift. Rather than the same old, like,
dross.
Not when you're playing it, it's not dross. When you're winning every week, it's not dross.
Of course, no, but I know what you're saying.
High intensity, similar to why Klopp left. He couldn't keep up the levels of intensity that he wanted to really keep Liverpool at the precipice of the Premier League.
At the peak.
Yeah, so every day Pep's pushing them so hard, his coaching team are pushing them all so hard to do things that some of them aren't natural to.
Yeah.
Do you think that maybe that has had an adverse effect, and now the players have reverted and just gone, nah, I was done. I was done with this.
Do you know what? You're actually probably right. And who was it that used to... There was a team, oh God, I can't remember who it was now. Premier League, and they were all high press. It was just a high press.
Leeds.
Yeah. So, well, not Premier League at the moment. But when they left...
Under what's his name? I can't remember his name. The old guy.
Yeah, Benitez?
No. Fuck, what's his name? We'll have to Google it.
Yeah, find that out for me. But obviously when he left... A lot of the players came out and said that it was just constant runs, just running. All
the time.
And I wonder if you're right. Guardiola is like that. A lot of the players were like, right, he's leaving, which means we're going to get a new style of football. Bielsa. Which means that we will be able to...
It's fresh.
Yeah, it's
really
something... It's not just going to be intensity. Because Pep doesn't like carriers, like ball carriers. Yeah. And Grealish is a ball carrier.
Grealish would have been in the same bracket as your Fodens, your Sakas, in terms of the ability to create something and beat people, which is what we want to see. I've said it so many times.
Yeah.
That's what we love in football. We don't... Like, yes, it's great seeing a Modric and a Kroos and pick out the passes, De Bruyne, and tiki-taka is lovely to see sometimes. But what we really want to see is a player like Ben Arthur. Remember when he picked up from the halfway line, dribbled it all the way through and scored? A Delta Rapt, Son doing the same thing. Like these players that go down in history as scoring some of the greatest goals because they are so technically gifted. Yeah, half of them never really made it because they got lazy.
Yeah,
but they had the ability.
And this is literally it. And I think that Guardiola squashes that out of them.
Yeah,
because his style of football is tiki-taka.
It's draining.
Yeah,
it's draining to watch. It's draining intensity. To be a part of. Back onto Chelsea.
Yeah,
are Chelsea in the title race?
Yeah.
Yes or no? I genuinely think they are title contenders. Them and Arsenal, as much contenders as each other. Yeah, it's very easy to say. They've got exactly the same record at the minute: goals scored, points, everything.
Yep.
So if Arsenal in that category, Chelsea 100% are. Because Chelsea, I'd be more worried as a Liverpool fan going to Stamford Bridge right now than I would be going to the Emirates.
Really? Oh, I don't agree with that.
Actually, I don't know. No. I'll take that back. I'll take that back.
I was going to say,
I think
you say some things, but
I'd be apprehensive. I wouldn't be like Arsenal when they're on it. And they're now seasoned at it. But Chelsea aren't far off, and if they can hit a run of form, whilst the other two, because they're so young, and sometimes ignorance is bliss.
Yeah.
And because a lot of them are new to it, and they are very much ego maniacs.
Yep.
You see it. Which is good. When you're going for titles, that's what you want.
Yeah, when it's working, it works. When it's not, it's a Aubameyang.
Watch your space. I think Chelsea are in for a very good season.
I would say
I put them in my top 4 at the beginning of the season. I'm sure I did.
I think you did.
I can't wait to do this recap. All I know is I put West Ham 12th, which
I'm pretty sure at one point you said Nottingham Forest were going to win the league.
No, I said they're in the title race, and they won at the weekend.
I genuinely think you said Nottingham Forest would win the league because I told you to clip it and you didn't.
Yeah, but I didn't mean it. I say a lot of things in jest.
Doesn't mean it now, does it?
You've got to throw a load of clippable things in it. You never know which one's going to work.
On obviously saying about Liverpool being worried about going to Stamford Bridge and things like that, I would personally say, after watching Liverpool over the last few weeks, I don't think they're afraid to go against anyone.
Now, this past very good week, battering Real Madrid and then demolishing a Pep City that, apart from Rodri, that's as strong as he could have got, or Kovacic as well. But, I mean...
I know what you're saying, though.
Didn't know how to govern them.
Also, just quickly touch on before we move on to the next game. Real Madrid looked wank against Liverpool.
Bellingham played really well. A player that everyone in England really loves.
I think he had a good game.
Did he touch the ball?
Yeah.
When? Also, Mbappe is fucking shit. I tweeted this. Mbappe is and always will be a French version of Marcus Rashford. There is so many parallels. Yes, he won a World Cup. Yep. He scored a hat-trick in the final. Yep. 2 penalties. I genuinely haven't seen him play a big game and play well.
In his defence for that...
I don't care.
No, but you're going to hear me out because we're stuck here. In his defence for that...
We're literally stuck here, by the way. We have to take all sorts off together.
Yeah, you can't just leave. When he was at PSG, he had it very easy.
Yeah.
That doesn't... For me, I still think he has talent and I still think he is...
So does Marcus Rashford.
Oh, absolutely. And Marcus Rashford, I think under the right coach, would come back to what he was like when he first jumped on the scene. With Mbappe, I genuinely believe maybe a couple of years at Real Madrid and he will come out like a Vinicius.
Vinicius is younger than him.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying about age, but I'm saying that he's played in a league where it's been easy for him.
I don't know if he's younger than.
I don't think he is younger than. I think Mbappe's like 23. Vinicius is like 27.
No, he's not.
Is he not that old?
Nah.
He looks well old.
Yeah, but that's just he's weathered.
Uphill paper round.
He's 24.
What, Vinicius?
Yeah.
How much? I was Mbappe.
25. Fuck you.
I didn't disagree. I just didn't think you were right.
You did. You said, I think he's older.
I literally just contradicted myself as well. But yeah, I don't want to touch on that too long.
I'll give him time. But you heard it here first. Mbappe is Rashford. No different.
Well, it's French, so it's a bit different.
Yeah, true. Anyway.
Right, next game.
We'll talk about West Ham Arsenal.
Yeah?
Now, this, if you ever want to experience what it's like to be a West Ham fan, this past week of football is exactly what the last 33 years of my life has been like. Great result against Newcastle. We got peppered in the first 20 minutes. Let's not get it twisted. Not many people to watch that game outside of West Ham Newcastle fans. Yep. Stats won't show it, but the first 20 minutes, we were clinging on terribly defensively. Scored a goal against on a play. Still looked ropey as anything. Our defence is fucking atrocious. Tadibo looks like Kurt Zuma. Like the way he runs, I don't know what he's going to be. Like a really, really high profile centre back. He is useless looking. But anyway, going at half time, came in second half, and very good second half performance. Credit where credit's due. Lopetegui seemed to do something right. 1-2-0, great. Going into the Arsenal game, not many West Ham fans who hadn't had 47 pints would have been optimistic about that game. But it was atrocious. And that's been a number of poor performances under Lopetegui, and even since David. So let's just go back to David Moyes, because what the pushback to West Ham fans, you hear on Talk Sport all the time, and Sky Sports, this is what West Ham fans wanted, a new style of play. Yes, we wanted to get rid of David Moyes because it was dire. Again, 17th time we used that word. Dreadful football.
Dross.
We'd stopped what we were good at, which was defending well.
Yep.
And we wanted a change from David Moyes, because David Moyes, it just ran out. When it just doesn't work anymore, it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
We're now well within our rights to turn around and say the football now is just as bad, if not worse, which it is. So, yes, we were right to ask for David Moyes to be moved on because it was the right time. It doesn't mean this is what we wanted or deserve.
No, absolutely. I think what West Ham fans wanted, and obviously you can confirm or deny this, is that you wanted a better style of football that one, worked better for the players that you had, that was more likely to bring you success, which made you more defensively strong, because realistically you've been leaking goals for a while.
Yeah, exactly. This is where a lot of West Ham fans are so naive, and they'll say, bring in Graham Potter, bring in this guy, bring in that guy, and that won't work, because the board has seen the stylistic of play that Moyes does, which is defensive at the forefront, work. And what I mean by work is we won a title out of it. Yeah. We won the Conference League. I don't care if everyone says it's a Mickey Mouse Cup. I don't care. It probably is. We won a cup.
And you have people celebrating Papa John trophies.
So I'm happy with that. I've seen us win something in my lifetime. Buzzing.
And European.
So, yeah, exactly. So Lopetegui is very much in that mould, just a little bit more progressive. So he probably was the right decision. Whether he's the right person now for the job is completely irrelevant to what the decision was made back in the summer. I would have liked Jose. Jose Mourinho would have pushed us on to where West Ham want to be in terms of the football might not have been as easy on the eye as what Lopetegui may or may not get us playing, but we wouldn't be conceding 4 goals in the first 20 minutes through dreadful defending against Arsenal. Arsenal were average, by the way. They didn't need to be anything better than average to beat us.
They didn't need to.
They went 4-0 up in second gear. Yep. The only reason we scored 2 is because defensively they switched off. And then a free kick, that's a free kick.
It was one of those that you go 4-0 up and you think that's all right.
And then the 2 penalties, there's not much discussion here. Both Stonewall penalties. Fabianski's clapped him in the head. Seen him given, seen him not given. If it wasn't given and I was an Arsenal fan, I'd be pissed off. If it wasn't given as a West Ham fan, I'd be telling you now it was a penalty. Because it was.
That was some punch, though.
It was. And he was nowhere near the ball. Like, he might have clipped the ball, but he's hit his head first.
Yeah. He's gone through the player to get the ball.
Or he's missed the head completely and missed the ball, which makes it even worse.
Yeah.
But
that's probably why he took the penalty. It's like, the punch.
So West Ham play Leicester tonight. So we're recording on Tuesday this week. Play Leicester tonight, and then we've got, I think, Wolves. You never want to see your team losing. I would genuinely take 2 losses if it means getting rid of Lopetegui.
I don't think it would happen. Although, actually,
we'd be in the bottom 3 if we lose to them.
I take that back, because I saw something the other day about West Ham have come out and said that these are 2 must-win games, which for most teams, whenever we hear that, it's must-win for the manager.
Yeah, well, West Ham were at this point against Newcastle, or even when we drew with who do we draw? Everton. We drew 0-0 with Everton. It was at this point then, so time will tell. But I've had enough of Lopetegui. Arsenal look close to being back to their best, but again, they're not going to learn much from that game because they didn't need to be that good.
No, this was not. This was a free hit almost for them.
It's embarrassing to be a free hit to a London rival at home.
Can we point out though, Wan-Bissaka
2-2.
Yeah,
he can't fucking defend.
Absolutely.
He's going to be the best one-on-one defender in England. He's never in our defensive third.
That's why it's so good, because they never see his defensive stats because he's not there.
Mate, so did Bowen touch the ball?
Was he on the pitch?
Yeah.
I don't even remember.
Well, we was out, so
that was probably the only saving grace for you, wasn't it? But it was a little fact for you. So obviously it was 5-2 at half time. That's only the 4th match in Premier League history to ever have 7 goals scored in the first half. Do you know
how many goals were scored in the second half of those games?
None.
I haven't seen one.
One
goal in the second half of any of them games.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh no, I don't have that part of the fact.
Yeah, that was I heard that today. Must have been match of the day.
Do you want to hear a more depressing one for you guys?
Yeah, go on. I couldn't get much more depressed about West Ham, to be honest.
Arsenal have scored 60 Premier League away goals against you.
Yeah, we're really good. We conceded 6 to them last year, so this is much better.
Yeah, well, I mean, so
we scored 2 as well. Anyway, we'll move on.
Yep.
Arsenal did well back in the title race as well. On the outskirts of the title race, I think it will take a mammoth effort from anyone to catch Liverpool now.
Yeah, I think Arsenal and Chelsea, if there's going to be 2 teams that could do it, I think it's them 2.
I think that I know I said City are out of the title race. I changed my mind from City being favourites now. They're not out of it, because
I suppose you can never say they're out of it, because it's
anything
City.
Could happen. Like Liverpool capitulated a few years ago when they got a few injuries, so there's nothing saying that couldn't happen.
It's it. If you have a couple of injuries, especially like to Van Dijk, who, in all fairness, since he came back from his injury, I will be the first to say that I've never thought he was looking as good as he could be.
This season he has.
But this season, he's definitely come back to it.
Again, it goes back to what we were saying about Pep. Maybe the new lease of life under a new manager has helped.
Yeah.
Same with Salah. Salah's numbers last year, well, they're not saying they were bad.
No, but they weren't.
They weren't anywhere near where he'd put in previously.
Absolutely.
We'll go to the other side of Merseyside now, and we'll talk about
Everton.
how Everton are just abandoning their Dychean ways. The bare principles of just fucking clear the ball. 3 mistakes they made for 3 of the goals against United.
Yeah, I remember.
At 1-0 to United, Everton looked like a better team. Another mistake, 2-0.
Made Marcus Rashford look good.
Yeah. I tell you, he did look really good for Man United. I said it for a few weeks now. Amad Diallo.
Yeah.
Looks very, very good. In this new system, he seems to be a player that's really going to come out on top. I'm not too sure if he's employing him as like a right wing back. Against Everton, they sit quite deep, so whether you're a wing back or a wing forward, it's not gonna.
It's a sort of counter-attacking.
He tends to play 3-4-3, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So I imagine it's a wing. It'll double up as a wing back. But then you got Mazraoui as the right centre back to come. Whatever he's doing well,
and it's working.
He's playing well. Fernandes had a better game again. Xerxes got a couple of goals. Xerxes got 2. Rashford got 2. Again, if I was a Man United fan, I wouldn't be getting too excited about this because the stats will tell you a different story to the actual game.
I mean, Everton are a struggling team as it is.
Score.
Well, I was just reading through that, like, because obviously
6-0 is it, or 7 this season?
Yeah, there's been a few, but in the last, what I wrote down earlier, in the last of their last 4 Premier League matches, they failed to score. They haven't scored in 4 games.
It's good that they're keeping clean sheets, but which one of those stats are going to change first? Are they going to start conceding or start scoring? Because that's really where we'll find out where Everton are.
Oh, absolutely.
Because it could go either way. Like if they start scoring, which I can't see, and a Dyche team are never going to start all of a sudden smashing in goal after goal.
I mean, Dyche's style of football is defensive.
It's
normally
pragmatic.
Yeah,
and look,
that's why he's got clean sheets.
I like Sean Dyche for what he does. It works.
Yeah,
but he's limited. He's very limited in terms of the style of play. Same as David Moyes, same as what Sam Allardyce was. All those managers are very similar. Yes, they're good. They're good managers, good coaches to a point, but they're unable to adapt. And that's what we spoke about last week about managers at the real top end of the game are able to adapt,
change their style of play,
change their skin, if that makes sense,
to basically help out with each.
To evolve with football.
Yeah,
like it's archaic now.
Yeah,
and with the new stadium, Everton have such an opportunity. And we've been saying for years, if they just stay up, they can push on next season, get into the new stadium and then push and grow. But they're not pushing, they're just maintaining, they're stagnating. Eventually, they're going to drop into the Championship if they stay with their current way and style.
Do you think that, because a lot of teams, when you are always at the bottom of the Premier League, they always say, like, I want to drop down, restart.
Everton won't, because they've never dropped out.
No, but do you think there are Everton fans out there going, like obviously...
No, again, I think it's because Everton have never dropped out of top flight.
They wouldn't say it.
I don't think they would. I think someone who's experienced it before and seen a rebuild might.
Yeah.
But I still don't. From an outside perspective, I think you're doing a world of good. Just clear. What's it? Clear gutters.
Clear. Yeah, you're clearing off dead wood.
Yeah, get the dead wood out because there's a lot of dead wood there. They haven't got much youth.
No.
They're to Branthwaite. Their current behemoth at centre back, who they just love, who's meant to be the next centre back best thing since sliced bread, was dreadful against Man United.
Yeah.
At fault for 3 goals.
Yep.
Tarkowski was at fault for the other, and Man United won 4-0, being bang average.
Again, it's like the Arsenal game.
Football, pretty much.
Yeah. But it's very much like the Arsenal game, though, isn't it? They didn't have to get out of second gear.
Yeah. So I'd say that, yeah.
But
I think Everton did more than West Ham going forward, to be fair, in terms of they created more and they pressed a little bit higher.
Yeah, they did, but they couldn't do it for the whole game. No, that's the problem.
As soon as the second goal went in, it was curtains.
But I collected a few stats about this game and things like that. And we touched on Marcus Rashford earlier. Yeah. That's because you're sitting like that.
Yeah.
And obviously how Mbappe is like him.
Yeah.
But I don't know if potentially, because the stats are beginning to build for Rashford. Mm-hmm. So under Ruben Amorim, he's now scored in back-to-back Premier League matches.
Yep.
He scored 3 goals, and that's as many goals as he managed between both Ruud van Nistelrooy and Erik ten Hag. So that his previous 23 matches underneath those two. Do you think that maybe the style of play that Ruben plays could actually work better for Rashford, that he actually might come back to a little bit
I was going to say the style is the reason why. Like the formation, it works so much better because they have an extra man in the attack because they're playing counter-attack football, not actual counter-attack football, whereas under Ten Hag they were sort of drifting between pressing and counter-attacking.
Yeah.
It was, you never sort of really gauged what the game plan was. Amorim's style of play, Man United fans might not want to hear it, largely is based off of counter-attack.
Yeah.
So they're not going to have large periods. They will against some teams, and they probably will against everyone.
Course.
But their goal creation is counter-attack, and that's why they probably scored 4 goals against Everton team, whereas they still would have beat them under Ten Hag, maybe by 1.
Yeah, but it wouldn't have, and they probably would have conceded as well.
Yeah, so it's 100% because of the style. So did Rashford play through the middle?
Yeah, I think he was up top.
And Xerxes on the left.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what the good thing about United is that they have got interchangeable forwards, because you bring Højlund in there as well.
Yeah.
Whether it's Xerxes, Højlund, Rashford, whoever you do put through the middle, you then got Garnacho. They have got very good attacking options. But did I not say when Amorim was coming in that I think it would work well for Rashford? Potentially.
But we obviously touched on it.
Yeah, I think it's so hard because Rashford goes through these, and you get to a point where you're just like, I've had enough.
Is he going to do it or is he not?
I don't want to see, even from an outside perspective, not even a Man United fan. I don't really care about these teasing moments where you look like you're going to be
he's back.
Yeah, a Golden Boot nominee or potential Golden Boot winner. Like, I'm not saying that. Like, the 3 goals he scored 2 tap-ins and the other one was a deflection. But he still needs to be there. And Rashford, at his age now, he's 27, 28, 26, 27. He's 27. Been in the United team now for nearly 10 years.
Yep.
He should really be one of the leaders in that team for the right reasons. And the problem that we have from an outsider looking in, he seems to be one of the more problematic players. In terms of his output and his inability for consistency than the positivity that we'd hope, especially being English.
Yeah.
So I hope he does well, and I hope he can really kick on. I want to see Man United back to, I've said it so many times, I want to see him back at the top.
Fighting for the title and stuff.
There's so many other teams I'd rather see fail.
Yeah.
But all teams go through this, and teams go through 10-year cycles. So you never know. I think Rashford could be about to make some kind of comeback, but again, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't.
I want him to, because I'd like to see him push on, do really well, get back into the England squad and do really well again.
Yeah.
Because he, again, like Bellingham, at one point he was our star boy. I also think that a lot of commentators said it early on, is that he was pushed into the England team well too soon, and it kind of ruined him. And I can't disagree with that. Basically, all of our young players, they get pushed in as golden boys, as the star boys, and then they're all over the adverts for the World Cup.
Too much too soon. Too much expectation too soon.
And it's like getting a big price tag.
Yeah, well, it does weigh heavy. Like, it doesn't matter how big your ego is. Like, some people you sink or swim. And it's one of those that you really find out what kind of person and player you are when you get to those hard moments, and like when they miss them penalties in the final, Rashford and Sancho dropped off a cliff, whereas Saka pushed on. Yeah,
his mentality was stronger.
Yeah, and some people just adapt naturally better than others, but we'll see. Time will tell. But the signs are there for positivity, for change for Man United. They've got a couple of harder games coming up. A couple of harder games. We didn't talk. Arsenal's next 4 games, I was going to say, are United.
Yeah.
Which is tomorrow, which will be a good game.
Bigger game.
At home. Do you know what? I could see United getting something there.
I could see him getting something, but also, even though they didn't have the greatest game against West Ham, I think they are still very hungry to be kicking on with this title race. And I think
they looked closer to what they want to be at without having to be against us than what they have over previous weeks.
And I think they'll see how United are doing and push on harder. I think
they'll struggle with the formation change.
They are also at home, United.
No. I think it's at...
Is it away?
I can't actually read what I wrote, but I'm pretty sure it's at Arsenal. Is that H?
Yeah, United home.
Yeah. So Arsenal home, sorry, yeah. Arsenal home. Yeah,
so they're at Old Trafford. So
Fulham away, Everton at home, Palace away. They need 12 points.
Yeah.
Because Liverpool's next 4 games, I think Liverpool could drop points. They've got three away games: Newcastle, Everton, and Spurs away.
They're not dropping points at Everton.
No, but they could at Newcastle or Spurs.
Oh yeah,
away.
Newcastle or Spurs.
And Everton's Merseyside derby, last Merseyside derby at Goodison Park. So I wouldn't be surprised.
But
again, I don't fancy him to.
No.
Like I said,
I mean, maybe Everton could hold off for a 0-0 until Ashley Young gets red cards.
There's points gained for any of the chasing pack over Liverpool over the next 4 games.
Yeah. Okay.
City aren't in the chasing pack, but they are what they are. Chelsea's next 4 games are Southampton away, Spurs away, Brentford at home, Everton away.
They've got a few good points in that.
Yeah. I think they've got the easiest out of the top 4, top 5, because I haven't actually looked at Brian's.
Yeah.
But Spurs away is a stumbling block. We'll move on.
I was going to say, should we move on to Spurs?
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Yeah.
So Spurs again just epitomised why
being Spursy.
Yeah, but they got booed again at the weekend. How does a team win 4-0 away at Man City, then play at home and draw 1-0 against, who did they play?
Fulham.
They played Fulham, and they was just drab. It was just not good again. Well, Kulusevski was on the bench. He was the best player on the pitch against Man City.
Yeah. I don't know.
Look, I don't like Tottenham. I don't want them to do well.
I don't know.
I'm getting pissed off having to talk about how Spursy they are every week.
Yeah.
Can they not just show a little bit of consistency? So then we have more to talk about. Like, we're just saying the same thing over and over again.
Do you think it's a lot to do with, you know how you always say you can only beat the team that's in front of you?
Yeah.
You only play as well as the team you're playing against.
Fulham are playing well. Fulham are a good team.
Yeah, but
to
be fair, because Man City are playing shit as well. No, there's not really there's no excuse for it.
Nah.
So Spurs, I'm sorry, you had no excuse to draw 1-0. You had no excuse to lose to Ipswich. And you had no reason to beat City.
For every Man City game Spurs have, there is an Ipswich in them. That is all that needs to be said about Spurs.
Yeah.
And until that changes, we're not going to talk about Spurs again.
Yeah.
Brendan Johnson scored again, right?
Yeah, he did. Cross came over, volleyed it in. It was nice.
He's having to new Raheem Sterling. Sterling's made a career, back post.
And it's working for him, so fair play.
Yeah, good point for Fulham. Did you see So Andres Pereira was dropped from the matchday squad. I don't really know why, but he tweeted not long after apologising for something that happened. And I know,
because he came off the bus, didn't he?
Yeah, so he was linked with a move to Marseille in the summer, and it broke down. And recently, it just got found a tweet or a video or a press conference that he did talking about the move and how he said he was excited for it, and unfortunately, it broke down. And then he was dropped from the squad for it, and because it came out about the same time. And I was just thinking, I was like, professional football. So who are you talking to? Who are you getting advice from?
Yeah.
So first of all, do that interview, and then it's very unprofessional. Like, he's a captain. I'm pretty sure so Tom Kelly's their club captain.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he takes the armband when he's not playing.
Yeah, like the vice captain. Yeah.
So it was just odd, but I like Pereira. What was it, pre-season Perlo United used to call him. He's a very good player. Well, he's not very good. He's a good player. He's a good player for Fulham. Yeah.
No, I see.
But it was just an odd. It
is odd because I remember seeing him get off the bus.
Yeah,
and there was a whole thing.
Maybe it was in January. He was linked to a move, and it's just coming up to January. Obviously, maybe it's that. It was something around a move to Marseille.
Maybe there's a conversation with Marseille with Tottenham.
It's just odd. I'll be moving to France at the minute. You see, Bordeaux have gone into liquidation. Wolves, Bournemouth. It's a hat-trick of penalties for Kluivert. Patrick Kluivert's son.
Yeah.
Did you see the game?
So I watched the extended highlights of that.
Again, playing out from the back. Just fucking clear it.
You're not good enough.
You've done it twice, Wolves.
You're not good enough for that.
I don't even think Jose Sarr's at fault.
No.
Like, I think he's been sold short both times. And he's the one that's now going to get dropped. Because Sam Johnson will probably come back in. And I'm watching it. I watched it on Match of the Day. I was like, surely not again.
Although the second penalty that was Sarr's fault.
I don't think it was. I think Dawson's pass was poor.
No, so the what was it? The third penalty?
Yeah. Dawson played it back to him.
Yeah, but
it was a foul by the keeper. But sorry. There were penalties. But I think the passes were sold short. Like the Dawson pass wasn't to him, and he shouldn't have gone. That's what I'm saying. Dawson just fucking clear it.
How was Sarr still on the pitch though?
He didn't get booked for the first one because the first one he's gone to clear it as Evan Nilsson's run across him and got a touch. So he's made a deliberate action.
Oh, okay, right. So right.
I don't know if he got booked. I imagine he didn't because he was still on for the hat-trick penalty as well.
Yeah.
But if you haven't seen him, just go and watch him. Like the first penalty, I can't remember. So there was 3 penalties given, all 3 scored by Cliver. 2 of them were fouls by Sarr. So the first one. They're playing out from the back. They shouldn't be.
Nope.
The keeper takes too many touches, but again, he shouldn't be in the position for that ball because he shouldn't have gone back to him.
It shouldn't be in his box.
Yeah, he shouldn't have gone back to him. He's taken a touch, not known Evan Nilsson's coming from his blind side. The striker's got there, he's gone to clear it, gone straight for the back of him, penalty.
Yeah.
Stonewaller. The third one, late on in the game, Dawson.
He stepped into it.
Yeah, Dawson is on like the right hand side, close to the halfway line. He's then loosely played a ball back to the edge of the 18-yard box, which is where Sarr is, but it's just to the left of him, in between Sarr and the striker. The striker's nipped in, and Sarr's just gone through and pretended to get fouled, pretended to be knocked out, penalty. And I'm just watching it, I'm like, Gary O'Neill, what are you... and if you look at the Wolves fans, they're all just looking around like...
What is going on?
Yeah, it's like... You remember like Benny Hill?
Yeah.
It's 100% that.
Yeah.
Every single one of them. And Wolves played well.
They didn't have a bad game.
And the worst thing is, I hope so, because we've got to play them next week. I hope this could be now a catalyst in a drop-in form, because all it takes is one of these games.
I mean, have they really been in form?
4 points from the last 2 games, from where they were.
I mean, yeah, I suppose from where they were. But from where they were last season, I would say that I would have thought by this point they'd have been kicking.
They're outside at the bottom 3 before Bournemouth.
Okay, right.
So they were picking up results.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was...
4-2 it finished. So Strand Larson and Wolves scored 2 very good goals.
Yeah. I
really like him.
I think he's a good player. Could he do it in a bigger team? That's my thing, though.
So he's only on loan.
Where's he from?
I want to say like Atletico Madrid or something like that.
Okay, so he does play for a bigger team anyway.
Yeah, it might not be Athletic, it might be a German team, but I bought him on Football Manager a few years ago, so I know he can be very good, but obviously, like I said before, doesn't always align with reality, Football Manager.
No.
That's quite often, but not all the time.
Not all the time. I do have one fact about this game, and for the last few weeks, most people may not have noticed, I haven't actually mentioned Watford.
No, I haven't, to be fair.
No, and I am going to mention them now.
Is there a comparison?
It is, yeah.
Right, go on.
And it's not a good one either. So Wolves have scored 22 goals and conceded 32 after 13 games in the Premier League this season.
Is that the worst?
So the earliest into a top flight campaign, a team has scored more than 20 and conceded more than 30 goals. Since Watford, who'd played 13, goals for 26, goals against 32 in 1984-85.
That was ages ago.
I know. So this is the worst.
That wasn't in the Premier League then, was it? 84-85?
No, I think it was League. What was it called? Like
Top Division.
Top Division, yeah. So that, in 40 years, is the worst any team has done. 13 goals
conceded.
Goals conceded and scored.
See, I still look at Wolves and don't think they're doing that badly. It's mad.
No one else has done it in 40 years. So
they are doing quite bad then.
Yeah.
Speaking of fun facts, moving on to our next game. You done with them stats?
Yeah, no, I've done.
Brentford. Did you know Brentford had the best home record for goals scored and the worst away record this season in the Premier League?
Well, they got both.
Yeah.
I did not.
So they've only got like 2 points away and the rest of their points have been at home.
If you can do it anyway, like
Brentford are a hoot to watch.
A hoot.
Yeah. Another hat trick, Kevin Schade. A very good hat trick as well. So Brentford are another team that just find these second choice strikers. Schade has been there for a few years.
Yeah.
On the precipice, he's been going out wide. I keep saying that word. Sorry, I keep repeating myself. Goes out left, right, middle, just fits into that front line. And now Wissa's their main striker. You got Mbeumo on the right. Schade came in at the weekend, and it was his first start this season, I believe, and he could have more. So he had a header early on, and Hermansen made a worldie of a save, and from that point, he just looked like a different beast. He
was hungry for it. Then he got so close to it, and it's like, I'm not giving up on this. And then
it was a very good hat trick. And Brentford again at home, fortress to say the least. Like they don't look like dropping points at home. They look so confident.
Absolutely.
And that's what you want. If you're Brentford, if you're Bournemouth, if you're Palace, you're West Ham, you're Leicester, you're these teams that you want to be around mid-table, you need to make your home a fortress. Because Brentford isn't the biggest stadium, but it's packed out every week. And it's like what Stoke used to be. We still say it now, a cold night in Stoke.
Yeah.
It's exactly like that. Brentford, you're going to get hurt, you're going to get battered, but not even just by the physicality of the team now. It's now the ability of their players.
And for a neutral, it's a great game for anyone. Like basically, any game at Brentford is going to be a good game to watch.
Thomas Frank is overlooked. To be fair, I don't think he is. I think he does get a lot of the credit he deserves.
He does.
The job he's done at Brentford is continually doing is one of the best jobs in the Premier League in terms of how year on year he's building. Exactly what we were saying about, we alluding to managers being able to adapt and acclimatise to change. He has ever so slightly changed the style that they play now. Tony isn't there.
Yeah.
He's brought in players to start now more often in Damsgaard. He already had Wissa there, which I said a few weeks ago, and I said it before, that he was at the time one of the best second choice strikers in the Premier League, if not the best, in terms of finishing and what he brings to the team, and his capability to step into a game in the shadow of Ivan Toney and it be like seamless. And he has. They've not missed
sort of transition period.
Like, they look better without Tony. I don't think they missed him last season that much. At first, beginning of the season, they did struggle a little bit because they had to adapt.
I think they've been so used to relying on how Tony plays and everything like that. The team was built around Tony, and now it's not. It's better. And it's very much like Brentford, and what Thomas Frank has done at home for Brentford is they've created it like Fort Knox. They've won more of their 7 Premier League home games this season than they managed in the whole of last season in the competition. So they've won 6 out of their 7 Premier League games.
Oh wow!
At home, last season, the whole of last season, they only won 5. They've got more points at home this season, 19 at home, than any other team in the Premier League. Yeah. So like they've made it like Anfield, like Old Trafford. That's what they've made.
It's not a nice place to go, Brentford.
No?
And
stadium or town.
Yeah. Trouble for Leicester. I think they've got Ruud van Nistelrooy in now.
Yeah.
First job is tonight against West Ham, so no doubt they'll beat us.
You're getting battered.
I imagine so. I was quite kind of hoping I wouldn't have to watch it, but it looks like we'll be finished recording.
What time is it? 8 o'clock?
8, yeah.
I'll be home by then. Yeah, fat pizza.
I was going to say, so Ruud come in, but I think it's bleak for Leicester.
Do you think it's too late?
I don't think it's too late. I just don't think their squad's good enough. I think Leicester were one of those teams they should have stuck with Steve Cooper. Time will tell. Proof's in the pudding. Yeah. I don't think they should have sacked Cooper. It's a very hard job to do at Leicester. They've got an ageing team.
Vardy scored though.
Yeah, Vardy's a good player. I like
not
Vardy
scored.
Still.
He assisted.
Yeah, Vardy's,
and he still looks.
Yeah, Vardy's still a catalyst for anything good that they do. But the problem is that
he is aging.
Yeah, the rest of the team. Like they've got, like I said before, Hermansen. I like Hermansen in goal. The centre backs I don't like. They've got decent full-backs. Their midfield is. Like, I
don't really know enough about Leicester, really. No, I just know that they have.
There's not many players that they do have a couple of players in attack that are quite exciting, but I think they've got a few injuries at the minute.
I don't even think they can say injuries is the problem.
No, I'm not too sure, but I think one thing going for them is that
they'll get relegated and dominate the Championship again.
There's that, but there's teams that are always going to be below them, like Southampton will be below them all season. They'll win a game, they'll lose a game, they'll win a game, they'll lose 4.
You need at least 3 of them beneath you, though. Otherwise, you're joining.
Yeah, true. I think Ipswich are going to fall back down. I think all 3 teams that came up will go back down, to be honest.
It feels very much like that at this point in the thing. And I mean, I'd probably say the podcast we do after Boxing Day, I can't see the bottom 3 changing too much after that. After we've had all this run.
Yeah. I think after the heavy Christmas period, you really do find out where you're going to finish.
Especially with some teams like Leicester that don't really have the depth. They don't have the depth for major injuries to come in. No. And
I think if they lose a player like Vardy for a sustained period of time, that he's still so crucial to their attack that I think they'll struggle big time.
I agree. No, I agree. I think Leicester are going to go down. I think Rude can't really change too much. They can't get a new manager bounce because they just don't have the legs in them. I just feel it.
They'll beat us tonight.
Maybe.
They'll beat West Ham tonight. I think it's at West Ham as well, but I still think they'll beat us.
See, if there wasn't so much going on this week, I would have done a watch long for this game.
Oh no, I couldn't think anything worse.
I wish I'd done a watch long for Saturday's game. Just because it was fun.
Yeah, no, I don't. Speaking of another team that's struggling in attack, Newcastle. Drop points again. They had one shot.
Isak's injured again though, isn't he?
Yeah, he went off injured. Callum Wilson's injured as well.
Yep.
Again. One shot that whole game. Palace had 14, I think. And it's a struggling Palace team.
Do you know what? Ismail Sarr?
He scored last week. And
he looked really good in that game.
Ismail Sarr is good.
I know.
He's good for what he can bring to a team in terms he'll turn defence.
He's a ball carrier.
Defences.
Yeah.
He's fast.
Yeah.
He's super fast.
I know.
Not many players can deal with that kind of pace.
I know. We've had him.
Yeah, what happened?
Him and Will Hughes.
Will Hughes? Oh, you had Will Hughes?
Yeah, we had Will Hughes.
I thought you were talking about him having pace. I was like, mate, no, he's not. I like Will Hughes.
I like him because he reminds me of me, an albino.
I was about to say albino, yeah.
So blonde you can't see his eyebrows in the sun.
It just wasn't good again by Newcastle. Like they sort of flirted with form, dropped points against us at home.
Yeah.
And now if they get beaten heavily by Liverpool tomorrow,
which they will,
Eddie Howe could be in trouble. This Christmas period is really crucial for a lot of teams and a lot of managers in terms of what their board and team want to achieve this season.
And I suppose it's a good thing to go into January after having this busy period because I mean we could say this every year.
December it goes to January.
I know, madness. But what I mean is obviously every year it should be like this. But the transfer window opens in January. Mm-hmm. You've had a pummeling of games.
So you need fresh legs, yeah.
So you not only do you need fresh legs, but you can see where you're missing your squad depth. Yeah. Like you can go, do you know what? If we'd had an extra striker, an extra centre back, an extra centre attacker, you'd be all right. So this is where they should learn from it. I say this, but every year could say the same thing. Doesn't happen.
Well, January transfer window is always like one of those. You like, it's wicked, and then they just don't sign anyone. You sign a player on loan you've never heard of, or you get 4 players going out. I remember last year we sold Fornals, Ben Brahma, and Cornet, I think, went out on loan, and we brought fucking no one in. I was like, we've been shit all season. Can you do something,
please?
Yeah, just
anything.
Anyone just to excite me a little bit. But yeah,
you pay for that.
Yeah, Newcastle. We need Newcastle needs something in January, I think, but they need to pick up form quickly because otherwise Eddie Howe's would have been Glasner,
which is crazy.
Yeah,
Eddie Howe was doing so well when all that money came in that he couldn't spend.
Even before the West Ham game, people were talking about how well Newcastle were playing again. I think they're just one of the teams that again the media and
hype them up.
Yeah,
but do you reckon that's because of the amount of money they've got?
100%.
Like now that they've got all this oil money and things like that.
Man City own the Premier League because how much revenue they put back into it.
Yeah, they can't buy games anymore, can they?
Nah, got caught out for that one. But Forest won again. Chris Woods penalty.
Nothing exciting. Yeah.
The biggest surprise actually was Brighton Southampton. Brighton could have gone second if they won.
Yeah. But they didn't.
First half.
That was Friday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was Friday game.
Why was that not a 12 o'clock Saturday kickoff?
They've stopped. I'm pretty sure they've stopped doing 12 o'clock Premier League.
Stupid.
Because Watford played at 12:30 in the Championship.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
So our bottom 3 currently are Southampton, Ipswich, Wolves, holding up Palace, Leicester, and Everton. Mm-hmm. Then West Ham are in 14th, Bournemouth, Villa. They're 12th. Newcastle are 11th. So they proper slipped. Like
I wouldn't have said that at the start of the season.
But who is going down?
I think you're right about Wolves. I think you swap Leicester and Wolves and that's it. I wouldn't change any of the other 3.
Yeah. I'd say the same. And I think in that order, I think it'd be Southampton, Ipswich, Leicester. Maybe even Leicester lower than Ipswich. Because Ipswich won't sack McKenna.
No.
And to be fair, Ipswich do play decent football. I just don't think they're good enough, the players.
No. They haven't got the quality to see out these games as winners. Because like we've seen, they can go ahead.
Yeah, they score
but
goals.
they don't have the quality to hold out.
Liam Delap's linked to a move away, isn't he? So if he goes, then they are absolutely fooked.
Yep.
Favourite for the sack race now?
Pep?
I said Pep and you laughed at me.
Yeah, I know. And I'm still laughing at it. No, it won't be.
December, we're definitely going to see something.
I reckon it could still be O'Neill, you know.
O'Neill, Glasner, Lopetegui are probably the front three.
Do you know what? If you lose tonight and lose your next game, it'll be Lopetegui. But obviously, we'll have a new episode by that point. But I would say at the moment, it's O'Neill. Really?
I think Lopetegui.
I think you're not one for sacking managers.
No, we're not. But we are when there's trouble at foot. So if we lose, we're dragged into that because we're 6 points above the drop zone now.
Yeah.
If we lose those 2 games, we'll be right back in it. And
that's saying that all the teams beneath you win.
Well, 2 of them are the teams below us, Leicester and Wolves.
Oh yeah, shit.
So we will be. If that happens, we're dragged into the mire. They've got no choice. Yeah. So I think Lopetegui because look, it could go one of 2 ways tonight. We could turn up and win like 6-0. Yeah. But we won't. But then what will probably happen? We'll draw today and then we'll get a lousy 1-0 win against Wolves, and it will just about stay in a job. What I'd rather is us play decent football, lose, and then build on the performance. Yeah, instead of trying to build on the result. Yeah, because it's a flash in the pan. You see it so often. Like how long was Ten Hag on his final game? Yeah, I remember 3 weeks before he was sacked, he had 2 games. The Villa and the Champions League game. Or Europa League game, whatever it was. Yeah. And then he got decent results there, and then it was the next 2 games, then the next 2 games, then he lost, and then they were gone. Like, you can't just... I suppose you can't just keep refreshing that it's going to be... It's inevitable. It's about how much the Newcastle game is going to carry him, Lopetegui. Yeah. And because what a lot of people will say was he wasn't on the sideline for the Arsenal game because he was suspended, but it's still his style of play. Yeah, it's still his coaching staff. Although he's still in the stadium, Arsenal, it's a free hit, but you just like to see your team give a little bit more. Yeah, he did score 2 though. You had moments. Moments FC. Anyway, who's going to win the league? I think Liverpool are going to run away with it now. Again, depending on by next episode. Yeah, because they've got Arsenal in between now and then, don't they? Liverpool's next 4 are. No, they haven't got Arsenal. They've got Newcastle, Everton, Fulham, Spurs. They'll play Newcastle and Everton. Newcastle at home? No, both away. Sorry, I meant Newcastle's home. Yeah. Goodison Park. Not Goodison Park, the other one. Fucking St James's Park. Yeah. I mean, if Newcastle can switch on, then I could see maybe a draw. I can't see him losing. But realistically, I see him winning every single one of those games. I mean, it's Liverpool. It, so no. They're 9 points ahead. So even if they draw and Arsenal win, who's Arsenal's game against? United. So if Liverpool draw and Arsenal win, they're still going to be, what's that, 8, 5... 6 points? 8 points. 8 points. They'll still be 8 points behind. 7 points, isn't it? They're 9 points ahead now. 7 points, yeah, they'll still be 7 points behind. Like, they need Liverpool to lose. Consistently. Yeah, so they need them to lose 3 games. I don't see them lose. I think Arsenal dropped too many points. Yeah. This early in the season. I think Chelsea have dropped too many stupid points. Like, you can't have those drop points to Bournemouth or the losses to Bournemouth or losses to Brighton or drop points against Brighton. You can't have them this early in the season. Like, especially, like, we're used to Man City running away with them, but they take a while to get going. Yeah, normally. They'll be kicking on around about now. But they still don't drop as many points as what they have been dropping. Yeah. Like, sorry, I thought I was about to sneeze. All right. Bless you. I haven't sneezed. It didn't happen. But anyway, the waffling now. Anything else? Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. It's a little bit shorter today, so you don't have to listen to us drone on for as long. But I hope you enjoy it. For all your newbies, welcome. For all your oldies, welcome back. Welcome back. And thank you for coming back. Yeah. And if you haven't already, like and subscribe. Give us a comment. Let us know your thoughts. And yeah, we'll interact when we can. Peace. Oh, wait. Oh, God. I was so prepped for that as well. That was it. Did you put me up?